I've been in hard Scrabble joints before, but none come close to the Island of Lost Souls from 1932. This dive's got every type of horror and monster the mind could conjure, like having a jury made up of nothing but your in-laws. Shocking for its time and shocking today, this pre-code frightening flick lives on as a testament to the idea that sometimes it's best to go a little too far. This Paramount picture was directed by Erle C. Kenton, who is probably most famous for directing Universal Pictures' The Ghost of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, and House of Dracula. Of course, Island of Lost Souls is based on the 1896 H.G. Wells novel The Island of Dr. Moreau. But it was not the very first adaptation of that work. That honor would go to a French silent film called Island of Horror from 1913, and then the 1921 German film, The Island of the Lost. Richard Arlen stars as the film's hero, Edward Parker. He's dashing and handsome and perhaps best known for his role as a pilot in the 1927 Academy Award-winning film, Wings. Kathleen Burke plays Lota the Panther Woman. A model at the time, she won a contest Paramount created to cast the part. She won despite the fact that there were over 60,000 applicants. The star of the picture is the one and only Charles Laughton. He is the big name in this little pond of a picture, and he'd go on to play important roles in films like Mutiny on the Bounty from 1935, Witness for the Prosecution from 1957, and Spartacus from 1960. Finally, the great and powerful Bela Lugosi is in this film as the sayer of the law. He joined partway through filming for a salary of only $800 because he was about to file for bankruptcy, even though he was only 1 year removed from Dracula. He may be hard to spot in this picture as he is covered in fur and makeup, but his accent is unmistakable when he shouts, "What is the law? Are we not men?" Island of Lost Souls is a pretty early movie, sure, but even for its time, it's a strange one. For example, the lighting can be quite unorthodox. Often it feels like the edge and hair lights on the characters are way too bright, creating an over-the-top shine as if there was something unreal or dreamlike about what the audience is seeing. Kenton also used some strange camera angles, including some second-person perspectives. A first-person camera is when we, the viewers, see through the eyes of a character, but a second-person camera is when a character seems to be speaking directly to us, as if the fourth wall were nothing but a myth. H.G. Wells, still alive in 1932, absolutely hated this version of his work, as he did most of his adaptations. He felt that the story in the movie put too much emphasis on the horror elements instead of the philosophical points. And for audiences at this time, the film was truly horrifying. Of course, in my opinion, Wells was wrong. Yes, this film differs from the book in substantial ways, but like any adaptation, it becomes its own thing. And that thing is peak horror in the early days of cinema. Featuring bestiality, the vivisection of people, genetic tampering, and human enslavement would be absolutely taboo today, and it must have been gobsmacking to audiences in the early 1930s. If you enjoy this sort of content, like and subscribe, but if you're really into classic films, consider supporting this channel by purchasing something from my Classic Film Detective shop on Amazon, where I create designs for true film buffs. Links are in the description. We've got shirts for a plethora of films including Metropolis, Nosferatu, Doctor Strangelove, The Thing from Another World, and of course, Island of Lost Souls. So be the first kid on your block with some truly unique classic film gear. Now, back to the review. In my opinion, there are two reasons to watch Island of Lost Souls: Wally Westmore's monster makeup design and Charles Laughton's hyper-villainous performance. First, Westmore was the head of the makeup department at Paramount but he wasn't even credited in the film for the amazing makeup designs he created for this picture, which is a travesty as they are unforgettable. He was able to take two wrestlers, Henry Akesian and Hans Steinke, and turn them into the beastmen we get to know through the movie. But what really makes this a must-watch film for any cinephile is the performance of Charles Laughton. He is deliciously evil in his portrayal of Dr. Moreau. It feels like he is having a blast becoming one of the most despicable characters in cinema history. He's magical, profoundly unhinged and psychopathic, and somehow simultaneously the most erudite and barbaric character at the same time. Modern films seek to humanize villains, soften them up. It seems like they're only ever committing crimes to help their sick child or something like that, but Laughton's Moreau has no such humanization. He's pure evil, but somehow magic to watch. I would say Laughton created one of my all-time favorite villains in film history. So, should you watch Island of Lost Souls? Only if you've got the nerve. To me, this is one of the most underrated horror pictures of the classic era. Is it perfect? No. Hollywood was figuring out how to make films at this time, but one cannot deny that this film stands out as truly groundbreaking compared to its peers. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to continue this conversation, follow me on X, where I post great classic movie suggestions and where to find them, and have great conversations with fellow film buffs. This is the Classic Film Detective, signing off.